So I haven't done one of these in a month because I've been working myself to death, but it's time to fix that. Yes, it's time for more Dungeon Master goodness. Taking a look at the next faction, the monastic order of the Jashpurdhana. Mystara does have its version of monks, called mystics, and most of them come from the nation of Sind. Of the numerous orders hailing from the largest of our not Indias, the Jashpurdhana are the monks tasked with heading out into the world and gaining enlightenment through good deeds. They are the paladins of beating ass, despite being rather obscure in Mystara lore. As this is a Dungeon Master's Guide video, go check out freemystara.com for all sorts of PDFs that you can download, as well as art assets for your games. If you'd like to help with the Dungeon Master's Guide, there is a donate button. All proceeds go directly to the artist because art this good isn't cheap. And if you think this is impressive, wait till you see the 10,000 Fists of the Khan art. Anyways, back to our scheduled faction video. The design of these guys was suggested by one of my awesomeness editors, as the original art for the Sind Mystic was a woman in a gi. Not a bad piece of art, just a bit boring in scope. She wouldn't have looked out of place outside of a karate dojo in real life. And placed next to a party of adventurers, she's not exactly inspiring epicness. So I asked my South Asian friends for suggestions on how to portray someone that was a little bit more heroic in appearance. And a Sikh gamer from the Mystara Discord forums introduced me to the legend of Baba Deep Singh. Mr. Singh was a Sikh warrior that spent his life never knowing what it was like to sock. He was a real person, born in Pahuwind on January 26, 1682. He is revered in the Sikh religion as one of their most revered holy men and martyr. This guy fought in all the major battles between the Sikhs and the Mughal Empire, and personally pissed off the Mughal Emperor enough to cause him to desecrate the holiest Sikh temple he could find. So Baba started walking to the shrine by himself, gathering men as he went until he had a full army. Unfortunately, the Mughal army was still several times the size of Baba's force, and they were defeated. But according to legend, Baba Deep Singh died one of the most metal deaths ever. While he was fighting to reach the shrine, he had his head struck from his shoulders. He responded to this flesh wound by picking up his own severed head with his free hand and continuing to the shrine. When he finally reached it, he placed his head on the altar, and only then did he allow himself to die. This all sounds like a Sabaton song written from a fever dream. Except the shrine today still exists, and it has his sword on display. And his skull. Joaquim, I just gave you your next epic soundtrack. Do this man proud. The Jashpurdhana. Their purpose is to seek enlightenment. Their organizational type is monastery. Their estimated membership is 750. Their functional range is Sind and all of the known world. Their current status is open and legal. Mystics, or monks as they are called in other less civilized lands, are rare in the known world. Ironically, mystics are not few in number, but since almost all of them sequester themselves, they are rarely seen in public outside of a few areas. The mystic order that is best known outside of Sind is by far the Jashpurdhana. Centered in the nation of Sind at their monastery high in the Kurish Massif, the Jashpurdhana are one of the smaller of the numerous mystic orders found in Sind. Their stated goal is to meditate on topics like the meaning of life or to understand the path to immortality. The Jashpurdhana also try to purify the body like other mystic orders, and as such they teach all applicants the ways of unarmed combat. Each mystic spends the first 3 years in the monastery learning the philosophies of the Jashpurdhana and mastering the exhausting physical training. The mystics will often combine their mental and physical activities after a while, with teachers shouting questions at the students while engaging in rigorous exercise, believing they should be ready for any situation, no matter how stressful. One belief that sets the Jashpurdhana apart from the other mystic orders is their 10-year pilgrimage to seek enlightenment in other lands. The mystics take in members of either sex or any caste, nationality, or race. This makes them one of the few orders that does accept outsiders. Since most of their foreign and demi-human members first encounter the mystics while one is on their pilgrimage, it also bolsters their numbers. A mystic on pilgrimage is allowed only what he can carry with him. When the pilgrims leave their monastery, they must always go east into the known world. North takes them into the foul region of Hul, and west into the cursed lands of the savage coast. Some will go in a random direction to see where fate takes them, but it will almost always send them into the eastern lands. There, the mystic is expected to find challenges that will make him question his view of the world. Jashpurdhana mystics are not required to take any vows except for restricting how much they may own. They're allowed to get married and even have children, as relationships can lead to enlightenment. Many mystics have met their spouse on their pilgrimage and returned to the monastery with a new family. The small village around the monastery is filled with the families of current and former mystics. Children are expected to follow in the way of the mystics, but it's not required. Jashpurdhana pilgrims are a curious sight in most nations of the known world. The order isn't large, and their number of pilgrims is even smaller. They are only a fraction of the more numerous Kais orders, but that order doesn't travel abroad. The Shahid Order seeks out adventure like Jashpurdhana, but rarely leaves Sind. While Sindhi aren't unknown on the streets of Darrakan or Thyatis, these are almost always nobles or merchants instead of mystics. This makes them popular guests for noble courts or guild parties, but many refuse the request to avoid being put on display. The mystics prefer to take the path less traveled, looking for mysteries and discoveries hidden away in ages past. Mystics will often join up with adventuring groups to assist them on their mission and seek enlightenment through the danger they encounter. They will even travel outside the prime material plane's bounds into other planes in some rare events. One particular mystic spent what he described as centuries in the Good Kingdom as King Oberon's guest, only to find upon his return exactly 10 years had passed. After a decade, the mystics are expected to return to the monastery to relate their adventures and experiences. This is a solemn affair, but it draws in every Jashpurdhana mystic in the region to listen. Once the recital is done, the mystic can leave the order to find further enlightenment, or restart training and embark on another pilgrimage. Organization. The Jashpurdhana are set up like other mystic organizations in Sind, with a single complex that houses all the training or studying members. There is a town that is developed around the monastery to accommodate the families of the mystics and provide support for visitors and outsiders. While the mystics of the monastery number a few hundred at any given time, the town around them does have several thousand people, primarily farmers. The order is led by the most senior mystic, who delegates tasks and chores to the other members. He decides who will be a teacher and when students are ready to begin their pilgrimage. As the order is kept poor as part of their dedication, donations to the mystics repair their surroundings and maintain the village's infrastructure below. There has been a dispute on how to handle substantial contributions, but the senior mystics have always managed to ease over the conflicts. Joining the Jashpurdhana is more straightforward than joining any of the other related orders in Sin. Anyone willing to undertake the rigorous mental and physical training is welcome to try. Most applicants give up due to the mystics' grueling methods, but they are always encouraged to try again after a period of rest and study. The difficulty of the Order's lessons keeps their numbers low and prepares their students for the challenges of their upcoming pilgrimage. Leaving the Jashpurdhana is also easy for its members. They merely announce that they are leaving the Order and move out of the monastery. There's no shame in leaving. It is their core belief that there is no one path to enlightenment, and everyone is free to pursue their own lives. Rejoining the Order is as simple as undergoing the initial training again. Several former mystics have found a new life just outside the town's borders below, while others never leave the adventuring life and seek enlightenment abroad. Mystics that have completed their pilgrimage and returned can take up their mentors' roles to the newest applicants, either by training them physically or instructing them in classrooms. The mentors coordinate lessons to try to maximize the amount of learning the class gets during their years of instruction. Students who lack in a particular area will be given personal instructions from senior students to finish their training. The Order does not have any official status outside of Sind, but its members frequently make names for themselves during their pilgrimage. An unarmed gladiatorial school was formed in Thyatis centuries ago after a monk on a pilgrimage defeated the Emperor's personal guard. However, the style has fallen out of favor in decades past. Darrakan and Irendi treat Jashpurdhana mystics as minor celebrities when they arrive, which annoys the mystics to no end. The emerging turtle clan of Etrugan draws in curious mystics who want to see this new culture firsthand. And it's time for adventure hooks. A little help from my friends. A mystic helps thwart a mugging of a Darrakan merchant prince, and in return is given a large amount of coin as a reward. The mystic asks the characters for help finding appropriate charities to provide the money to, while charlatans and grifters attempt to trick the mystic for their greedy ends. You got a license for that leg lock. While the Jashpurdhana only have a single permanent location, it isn't uncommon for a pilgrim to set up a training grounds during their time abroad. One such mystic wants to establish a school in the Empire of Thyatis, but doesn't know how to navigate the Byzantine complexity of the Thaitian licensing process. The players are asked to help obtain the permit by dealing with the Thaitian bureaucrats in the most appropriate way possible. Too nice of a guy. A village approaches the party talking about a relic left behind by a Jashpurdhana mystic years ago. If the party includes a mystic, he will immediately recognize the artifact. The village asks the party to remove a nearby humanoid tribe that is rumored to possess it, while the artifact is genuine and isn't anywhere near the village. The villagers merely use the description given to them by the original mystic. Now they're trying to trick the party into cleaning out the humanoids without having to pay them. Jashpurdhana Express. A Minorthad merchant's daughter has decided to take up the challenge and become a mystic. He hasn't heard from her in 2 years and can't make the trek to the isolated monastery to check up on her. He hires the party to deliver a message and see if they can't talk to her about giving up her training and returning to the family business. Ooh, rock me, Asmodeus. The characters are approached by a mystic looking for a group urgently needed back at the monastery. A small rock has taken up residence at a nearby mountain, and while it's nowhere near as large as other creatures of its type, it can still grab numerous man-sized creatures in a single pass. The Mystics don't have any ranged abilities to bring the rock down and need the characters to drive the beast off before the Mystics are forced to relocate away from its hunting grounds. These arms are licensed weapons. A Mystic is being held in connection to the beating deaths of several men near a local tavern. The men were apparently killed in hand-to-hand combat by a master, and the only known martial artist in the area was the Mystic. The local lord knows a lynch mob will be formed soon, but doesn't have enough evidence to provide the Mystic was involved either way. The actual culprit was a stalwart who won an illicit boxing match and defended himself when the loser's friends attacked rather than pay up. Do you like dags? A Mystic has refused to throw a match and now needs the characters to help her stay safe from her rivals, who want to make sure that she's in no condition to fight.